What's good, YouTube? It's your boy FOREX back at it again with another video today. And after high request, I'm dropping another video. I haven't dropped a video in a few months, but a lot of you guys been DMing me. A lot of you guys been messaging me on Telegram asking, can I drop another video? So what I went ahead and did is I put a poll in my free Telegram chat. Link in the description that you can join below. I put a poll in there, right? And ask you guys what it is that you exactly wanted me to do a video over. So we got over 100 votes in under 5 minutes saying that you guys wanted me to do a top-down analysis video, right? A lot of you guys commented and said that's one of the most important things. That's one of the things that you guys struggle with the most is the overall top-down analysis. So we'll be going deep in depth over that today. Also, guys, like I said, join my free Telegram chat so you can stay in tune with the updates. I have a lot of things going on right now, but I drop a lot of information. I drop my weekly charts. I drop all of that stuff every week in my free Telegram chat. I'm not as active on YouTube, but in my free Telegram chat, y'all hear from me at least every week, and that's how you could personally reach out to me if you have any questions about trading, right? So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started with this overall top-down analysis. So it's important on an overall top-down analysis that you pay attention to the overall bigger picture, right? So just think about it in terms of a book. If you were trying to read a book and you try to get an overall summary, you wouldn't just flip to a random page and just start in the middle of the book and read a couple pages to think, and you're gonna think that you're gonna know what's happening in the overall book, right? So if you want to get a summary of the book, oftentimes you will read the back of the book because that's the overall summary. But if you want to get the whole gist of the book, you will read the whole thing. Same thing with the overall, the charts. You can't just get overall understanding what's happening in the bigger picture unless you start from the highest time frame. And the highest time frame possible right here is like shown on the screen is the monthly time frame, right? So we can see the monthly time frame. So just think about the monthly time frame being the overall book. We need to get the whole summary of the book before we get down to the little details like the characters and what's happening in the overall story. So with that being said, just think about the monthly as the overall summary, the weekly just being a couple chapters, the daily being more so a few paragraphs, and then like the 4 hour to 1 hour just being a few words that make up that overall paragraph. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know in the comment section if that analogy makes sense to you guys, right? So even if you drop down to the 15-minute time frame or the 5-minute time frame, those are just a few words in the book, and you can't make up the whole story just by reading a few words in the book. So you have to have the overall, you have to have more data, you have to have more information about that book to put the overall story together. I hope that makes sense to you guys. If it didn't, let me know in the comment section. But like I said, guys, you start on the overall highest time frame. So the overall story on this time frame right here, we want to pay attention to where price is most recent. We don't care about what happened back in 2000. We don't care about what happened in 1999. None of that stuff. We want to pay attention to mostly where price is at right now. So the name of the game on the overall top-down analysis, in my opinion, is to box in price and get close to price as possible, right? So in this case right here, on this monthly time frame, and also I like to use the analogy of every line that you draw on your chart is supposed to tell you a story. So with that being said, the story on this time frame, on the monthly time frame, is that we can see we are clearly in this overall somewhat downtrend, right? Boom, we can see that. We can see every time price touched this line right here, what did it do? Price pushed down, 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 down. From here, down. Now that we overall broke this trend line, we are sitting on near this trend line is overall consolidation. But like I said, every line that you draw on your chart is supposed to tell you a story. So in the monthly time frame, the story is that price was on this trend line, and then we now broke this trend line, and now we are looking to see what price will do next. So we don't need a lot of data. I guess the next thing we can draw here is a zone, because on the zone right here, the story on this zone is every time price came to the zone, it did what? It dropped. It dropped. So if price was to ever make its way back up to this zone again, what could you expect? You expect price to drop. And that's how you more so get the story. You got to kind of make it make sense to you. Like trading doesn't have to be difficult. Like a lot of people overcomplicate trading and they try to draw these lines and all these type of things, but you really don't need that. You only need the lines that, like I said, tell you a story. And the story on this time frame is that every time price touches the blue line, it push down. and then every time price this white zone, push down. Same thing down here. If I was to draw a zone right here, every time price touches this line right here, it pushed up, pushed up, pushed up, pushed up. So if price was to ever make its way back down here, what could you expect? You could expect for price to push up. But we don't try to predict the market, we only react to it. So if price was to make its way down here and break through it and retest, then we expect price push down. But this is on the monthly time frame, so we don't need a lot of data because every single candle on here is a monthly candle, and it's going to take a lot of time for even these candles to form. So we're not paying attention to a whole bunch of the monthly time frame. So now as we drop down smaller time frames, we want to get closer to price as possible. So make sure you guys put that in your notes. Every time you drop down a time frame when you're doing a top down analysis, you want to get closer to price as possible. All right, so the story on that time frame, we already established that. Now we're on the weekly. The weekly time frame, we could see, okay, we're in a little bit consolidation, but we do have this overall uptrend, correct? We can see that the story on this time frame right here is that every time price touched this weekly trend line, what did it do? It bounced. And we can see right now that we're starting to get rejection on this overall weekly time frame. So we have to make it make sense to us. We see that, okay, the story bounce. So if price was to ever make its way back down to here, what could we expect? We could expect price to bounce. Boom, that's all we need for the weekly time frame. We don't need a whole bunch of support and resistance lines. We don't need a whole bunch of zones. We don't need all of that. We just need a couple of lines that tell us the overall story on each time frame. Now let's drop down to the daily time frame. We can see, all right, on the daily time frame, what does it look like? What is the story on the overall daily time frame? Well, on the daily time frame, it looks like we are currently in a downtrend. So we can illustrate that. And like I said, every line that you draw on your chart is supposed to tell you a story. So the story on this time frame is that every time price touches this line right here, what did it do? Price shot down. We shot down. We shot down. We shot down. We shot down. So if price was to ever make its way back up to this daily time frame again, what could we expect? We could expect price to push down. But if price breaks through this zone and then retest it, then we could expect price to push up. But that's why, like I said, you got to make it make sense to you. You don't react. You don't predict the market, react to it. And like I said, every time you draw a line in your chart, it's supposed to tell you a story. Now that we got this on the daily time frame, we can start to look to see, okay, well, are we at any major key levels of support or resistance? Because daily support and resistance, that's important. We want to pay attention to those levels. So we can see right here that we have broken a level of support on the daily time frame, and it gave us a break. So what could we illustrate? We could illustrate, okay, we had this level of support right here that has now recently got broken. So that's a level that we want to pay attention to, because like I said, every line and everything we draw on our charts supposed to tell us a story. So the story on this zone right here is that every time price came here, it bounced. Bounce from here, bounce right here, bounce right here. We then now broke this, so we are looking for a retest to see if we could continue to push down. But if price breaks back inside of this and breaks this daily trend line, then we'll be looking for price to push up. And like I said, you got to make it make sense to you guys. You got to make it make sense in regards to keeping it simple. So we can see we have this daily zone. So let's go ahead and mark this as a daily zone. Boom, we understand that. Now we can see, all right, on a 4-hour time frame, what does it look like? So the story on this time frame looks pretty similar to the daily time frame. So we don't really have to draw too much, right? But we can overall pay attention to the structure on this 4-hour time frame. So if we paid attention to this structure, we can see that if you guys paid attention to my previous videos on my market structure, the market moves in 3 phases. 3 phases go as such: impulse, correction, continuation. We can see that on this 4-hour time frame, we had this overall structure right here. We had impulse, correction, continuation, correction, and this is now the continuation of that leg. So what we'll be looking for, we'll be looking for an overall correction back up to this trend line to get an overall continuation and continue heading down. Because when you're in an overall downtrend, you are now making a new series of lower lows and lower highs. So we can see we had a high right here, then we had a lower low, lower high on this 4-hour structure. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comment box if you guys if that made sense to you guys. So now on the 4-hour time frame, we don't really have too much to draw, because like I said, the story on the 4-hour time frame is pretty much the same as it is on the daily, that we are in this overall pretty much downtrend. So now what can we do? We can drop down to the 1-hour time frame. Now, as we drop down to the 1-hour time frame, we want to pay attention to, okay, what is the story on this time frame? So we can see on the 1 hour that we are in this overall downtrend as well. So let's illustrate that. Boom. We can see every time price touch this line, what did it do? It dropped. It dropped. So if price was to make its way back up to this trend line, we could expect price to drop. But if it doesn't, then we'll be waiting for a break and a retest to carry it up to this daily trend line. Now that we have this on the 1 hour structure, we can see, okay, we have this overall downtrend. And like I said, every time we go to a different time frame, we want to get closer to price as possible. So now let's drop down to the 30 minute. On the 30 minute, we can see, okay, we could get a little tighter to price, a little bit closer to price. So we could potentially draw a trend line right here. Boom. So now this is like a 30-minute trend line. So we could see that price, when we drew this 30-minute trend line, we could see the story on this time frame was that every time price touch here, it pushed down, it pushed down, it pushed down. But we see we got this break of this 30-minute trend line, and now we're starting to get this retest. So now what that lets us know is that, okay, we could potentially be pushing up from here because we got the break of the retest of this trend line. So the next area that has to potentially go to is this overall 1 hour trend line. And when price gets there, we need to watch it to see if it's going to reject, just how it did up here the 2 previous times. And that's the story on that 1 hour time frame. Or we need to see if it's going to break. This is going to break and retest to carry it up to the daily trend line. And that's how you make sense of where you are at in the market. So now that we understand that we on this overall 30-minute time frame, and we have this break and this retest potentially forming, now we could potentially be looking for entries. So we're not going to go over that in this video, but this is just how you do an overall top-down analysis. You have to make sure that every line that you draw on your chart is supposed to tell your story. And I'm going to keep reiterating that because it's super important. And that's how you make sense to where you are at in the market. Because a lot of people, they draw a whole bunch of different lines. They draw a whole bunch of support and resistance lines that aren't necessarily needed in somewhat. Like, of course, this isn't everything you need to mark up your chart, but this is just the overall foundation of making it simple and having an idea of where you're at in the market. Because right now I know exactly where I'm at in the market. I don't have to go down to a smaller time frame. The 30-minute is fine. With the 15-minute, it's pretty much the same story. So I don't have to draw, I don't have to do a lot much. Like, everything from here tells me where I'm at in the market. I can see that I'm clearly, if I go back up to these time frames, on the weekly, I'm in this uptrend. I just took a bounce off this weekly trend line. Okay, cool. On the daily, I'm on this overall downtrend. So now that lets me know majority, I'm going to be looking for majority sales, because on the daily, we're in a downtrend. And then on the 4 hour, we understand that's just pretty much the same overall story as the daily. And then on the 1 hour, we understand that we are in a downtrend. So the short-lived trade right now potentially is a push back up to here, to this trend line right here. But that's a minor structure move. That's not the overall trend. But we understand, like I was just talking about, that the market moves in 3 phases. The 3 phases go as such: impulse, correction, continuation. So we can see right here, this is just one big impulse. So now we need this correction to come up here to potentially give us this overall continuation down to the downside to be in alignment with the overall daily structured trend. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope it does. And hopefully this video isn't too long. I didn't want to go too in depth because a lot of this stuff I teach in my overall mentorship. A lot of these things is available to my private students. If you do want to be a private student of mine, then you could just join my free Telegram chat below, and then you will be able to look out for my announcements in the chat. I go straight over when I'm allowing students, when I'm accepting new students, and the process of all that. So like I said, join my free Telegram chat below. I also have a SIGNALZ chat that you guys can join. It'll be included in the link below. You can all purchase all of this stuff from my website, and you'll just place your order, then I'll add you to the group chat. With that being said, let's just dive and let's just reiterate what we talked about for this quick video. We can see right here that, well, let's just type it out, make it make sense. Every line that you draw on your chart is supposed to tell you a story. Ask yourself, every time price came here, it did what? That is the overall story on that time frame. So the line, like I said, when we started this overall top-down analysis, we had this monthly trend line. We said every time price touches monthly trend line, it pushed down. We could see that we now broke this monthly trend line and we came back in. So we need to see what it does from this area from right here. And then on the weekly time frame, we can see that every time price touches this dotted line, this weekly trend line, it bounced. And we could see that we came to this weekly trend line and we then bounced. So we now need to see if price is going to break this weekly trend line to take us back down to this overall monthly supply and demand zone, or if we're going to push back up and head up to this upside of this monthly supply and demand zone. And then on the daily, we can see that we just broke a level of support. That lets us know that, okay, we just had an impulse, and we know the market moves in 3 phases: impulse, correction, continuation. So we could be expecting for price to push back up to that daily zone to retest it, or we need to see if price is going to push and break through to continue higher. But on the 4-hour, we understood that it was pretty much the same story as the daily, and we can see that on the 1-hour that price is in an overall downtrend. But as you guys can see, that the daily zone that has got broken and has not got retested is in alignment with this 1-hour trend line bounce. So if we was to make this way back up to this 1-hour trend line bounce, we would be in confluence with this overall daily zone. So that's an area that we need to pay attention to, and we could potentially see price push back down from here, or we could see price break and retest to go higher. But in that case, we just react to the market. We don't try to predict it. Now on the 30-minute time frame, we could see the story was every time price touches this blue trend line, it pushed down, and we then now broke this area and retested. So we need to see if we could start to get some wick rejections in this area right here to potentially push up, or if we're going to break beneath this and retest it for the bottom side to continue to push higher. But like I said, we always react to the market. And then if we could throw a little bit more confluences on here, so if we put a fib on here, we could see our point A to point B. If you don't know how to use the fib, check out my Fibonacci video. I'll go deep in depth on how to use the fib. It'll give you all the directions that you need to know, the overall tools, and how to put all the settings in it, etc. So we can see point A to point B. So if we look for this, we could potentially look to carry it up to our negative 27, but we'll see what the market does from there. And then I guess one more trend line that we could potentially draw is a trend line from this upside. So if price breaks and retests this, let's just make this purple. If price breaks and retests down here, then we'll be looking to carry it down. So like I said, every line that you draw in your chart is supposed to tell your story, and the name of the game is to box price in. So we have price boxed in all the way. So price can only go one or two ways. Price can either only go up, or price can either only go down. But we just wait on the break and retest to give full confirmation of that, and then we'll be looking to carry it to either this black trend line or down back to this weekly trend line, which is an area of support and resistance. So I hope this video was helpful. Like I said, you guys can join my free Telegram chat in the description. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Like I said, this video was super it wasn't random, but it was just one of the things I wanted to get back to you guys. I will be dropping a lot of content coming here soon. I'm in the midst of moving right now, so I will be giving you guys the updates on that. But I am moving cities, so bear with me as I go through this journey. I'll be trying to make videos in between times, because I know a lot of you guys are waiting on these videos, and you guys use these videos, and you guys leave comments and say that they're truly helpful. So I'm trying to give you guys a lot of information that a lot of these people that they don't give you. I don't mind giving you these free gems for free. So like I said, make sure you join my free Telegram chat to stay up to date with me. We just cracked 500 subscribers in the free Telegram chat. That's a great milestone. Next, we could try to get it to about 1,000 subscribers in the free Telegram chat. And we also cracked 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. The more support I get, the more motivated I get to do free videos for you guys, because I know it's helping you guys. So leave some comments in the comment section below to let me know if this video was helpful. And like I said, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.